let's just start off with the last 6 months. Everybody has been writing about this enhanced acceleration of digital adoption and how it has changed everything in its wake. I'm sure Oracle had the same experience. How has, from a product standpoint, life changed as we go through work and study from home or living at work, however you want to define that right now? But how has your, some of the things that probably people are not looking at right now, or maybe some of the things that have enhanced when you're talking to your customers?
Well, that's a great question, Noor. Yeah, and I love that phrase, living at work. I have a family of 5, and sometimes there's 5 of us on Zoom. 3 of us working and 2 of us doing classes at the same time. So it is interesting times. So we are absolutely seeing an acceleration of movement to digital channels, for contactless delivery, pickup, payment. Obviously, as we're saying, from work from home, and it's not just us working from home, but it's entire service centers working from home. It's entire sales teams working from home, entire marketing teams working from home. So we have certainly been helping our customers at Oracle Cloud CX. We've been helping our customers move and digitally transform their businesses and move to digital channels. But with the pandemic, it's definitely accelerated. And we have been introducing a lot of new innovations that help our customers not only cope with changed customer experiences and expectations during the pandemic, but we are thinking ahead, and our customers are thinking ahead to what we call the next normal, which is when we come out of the pandemic and there's a vaccine and we're all safer around the world and able to resume some of our old habits. We think a lot of people are still going to prefer digital, and people are still going to prefer contactless payment, and people are still going to prefer delivery, and people are still going to prefer working from home. So we need to be enabling, at Oracle, we need to be helping our customers be more agile in adopting to this sort of new world, if you will.
Fair enough. I think that's pretty much the experience that a lot of other people also have at this time. The working from home phenomenon actually has changed a lot of things, especially the way we are looking at the demand for technology. But give us more of a sense from a marketing function. How have things changed, or some of the broad stroke trends that you may be seeing in respect to that?
Sure, Noor. I would say that probably the biggest trend that we're seeing is the rise of the enterprise customer data platform. And we have a product called Oracle Unity. And that product is about enabling organizations to have more intelligence about their customers and to power more personalized experiences in digital channels and assisted channels. So an enterprise customer data platform, in the case of Unity, is able to, well, the problem most organizations have, I should back up and say, the problem most organizations have, because everyone wants to deliver a better customer experience, but the reason many organizations cannot deliver that experience is because their customer data is trapped within what we call silos. So like, let's say that I have a company, Noor, I own a company and you're doing business with it. I may have one set of information about you in my marketing system. I have one set of information about you in my advertising system. I have another set of information about you in my sales system, in my commerce system. And then I've got a system, my financial system, which tracks orders and payments. So what Unity is doing is able to bring all of that data together using technology like Oracle's autonomous database and the power and scale of that, and then applying machine learning, AI and machine learning to that, so that the next time you come to a website or walk into a store or get on a digital intelligent chatbot conversation, those touch points are able to refer back to this profile of all of your data and then think about, well, what is Noor likely to be shopping for? Or before I send Noor a email or a text message, advertising a new service or product, I should probably check and see if there's an outstanding service request that Noor has, and I should make sure Noor is a happy customer. Or if Noor is calling into the service center, is Noor a high value tier 1 customer, loyal customer, long-time customer, or is a new customer? And then that can help decide on how we route the call and how we service it. So I think having a better understanding of the customer is key to delivering better experience, but the task of bringing all that data together is a big trend or a big problem that at Oracle we're investing a lot in helping our customers solve.
Yes, didn't we have this one view which was supposed to be the holy grail of marketing at one point in conversation for quite some time? Like for the last 3-4 years, people have been talking about one view of the customer, which is breaking through all the data silos and bringing it together. I see that you call it as a trend right now. So are we now realistically moving to the place where products like Unity are actually doing this? And say if you and me are speaking a year later, we would have actually solved this problem?
Yeah, so I would say that the single view of the customer has been something that marketers and CX professionals and CEOs have been looking for 15 or 20 years. The industry has been talking about it. And there have been various attempts at doing that. And typically over the last 10 years, the way organizations have tried to solve that is the marketer working with the IT department and the IT department building a data lake. But what we and some others in the space have brought in, the innovations that we've brought in, is to add on to a data lake, is the ability to gather behavioral data or digital data, interaction with mobile websites, kiosks, mobile phones, mobile applications, to be able to gather that data, that digital data in real time and stream that in. And then number 2, the ability to add in a identity resolution. So the ability to understand that when that this person coming in on this IP address is also Noor. This is Noor on the iPad in the evening as opposed to Noor in her laptop, her work laptop during the day, and then able to connect Noor across different channels. So I think the ability to bring data together has been there, but with data lakes, that data has only been brought together for analytics. It hasn't been able to be brought together to be a system of activation and engagement. So the 2 things that now allow that are real-time data collection at scale, AI and ML, make it possible to make decisions and influence and personalize interactions in digital channels and human channels. So I think we are actually at the point where we are doing this, like we're doing this with a customer called Shopback, which is out of Singapore. And they are a retail, affiliate retail company, fast growing startup, serving, I think, 15 countries in Southeast Asia. And Shopback adopted Unity, and they've dramatically improved their conversion rates and their ability to engage with their customers. They've dramatically increased their customers' return rates. We are working with, in the United States, we're working with AT&T, the telecom company, and their issue was that it was taking weeks to get leads of small business customers that went to their site looking to buy internet or security services. It was literally taking 3 weeks to get those leads to salespeople. But the problem with that is that small business owners, their buying cycle was a week or 2 weeks. So if it took you 3 weeks to get the leads to your salespeople, you lost the sale. So what we did with Unity and AT&T is that we went in and we found out that they had 23 different sources of data about their customers, 17 different internal systems had data about their customers. And then there were 6 external sources of data about their customers or third-party data they were buying. We combined all of that into one system, and then we connected that directly to their marketing automation systems, their websites, and now those leads flow to their sellers within hours of when the people come to their site. So it's a dramatic shift in the business. And now we're moving into many other areas at AT&T based on this initial success.
You know, in the beginning, you used the word next normal. The more I listen to what your experience has been, the next normal seems like a very exciting time for marketers, especially because how it is directly impacting business outcomes. What I want to understand more from you is that when we marry the two, because at least in India, we are seeing more and more that many small companies have to adopt digital really immediately for all the words that you said in the beginning, whether it's contactless, whether it is, whether it comes to delivery or all of that pretty much. However, it's a big gap. It's a very big gap between people who actually understand that, single view data enterprise, and then this completely new set of people who were really all right with their grocery stores, but now have to go up. Now, as a company, and Oracle is very active in India, as a company, what will be your advice to bridge this gap, or to give the right advice to this new set of people to be able to utilize what you have at offer, or what they must do at this time to survive in the business?
Well, I would say that India is certainly a very high growth market. It's interesting. There are 560 million internet users. 97% of those users use mobile as one of their internet access devices. There's an even split between urban and rural internet users. There's a lot of growth in rural. And then the cool thing is that even though there's 50% internet penetration, that means there's still a lot, and it's the number 2 internet market in the world, there's still a lot of growth. So India is an exciting market because you both have the number 2 market in the world, but there's still a tremendous amount of growth to be had there, right? So you have old line companies that are looking to do what we call a digital transformation and perhaps move from on-premise systems and moving to a modern cloud approach. For those customers, my advice would be you may have started to move to the cloud by each department buying a separate cloud application. So the sales leader bought one cloud application from one vendor, and the service leader bought another cloud vendor's application, and the marketing leader brought another cloud applications vendor. And the good thing is that they're in the cloud and they're getting all that innovation and advancement of the cloud and all the good things of the cloud. The bad thing is that the data is still siloed because you've got these 3 different vendors running the software. So you still have the same fundamental problem. So to those larger companies that have been around for 20 years or 50 years or 100 years, what we see in the United States, and my advice for Indian companies in this situation would be, you've got to look at a platform solution, a platform vendor, like an Oracle. We're probably the strongest vendor that has we are the strongest vendor that has both a very, very strong marketing cloud, CX cloud, as well as a financial cloud or ERP cloud and supply chain cloud. So many customers are looking at us and saying, wow, we want to just completely transform the entire business, and we want to connect the front office and back office on a common platform. In Oracle, you can do that. My advice to digital disruptors or smaller companies that are growing into this, they do have the advantage of learning from the errors of the past. And as a newer company, they are not stuck into these older on-premise systems, and they can be more agile. And maybe when they're starting as a company, they're using a hodgepodge of different smaller systems from smaller email service providers, in the marketing department. But I would say that a company that is going to scale for ultimate success would also be looking for a single platform vendor and looking to centralize. And they might choose Oracle, they might choose someone else. And they might have a mix, like every company is going to have a mix of vendors. That's just the reality. But I think that the smart companies are trying to center on an Oracle stack or someone else to get those economies of scale and to get that ability to flow data between the front and back office.
All right, perfect. We're going to make you talk about India a little bit more. In fact, I'll divert that question to Soumya after this, where Soumya can ask you a little bit more Indian examples. But in the meanwhile, and before we go to Soumya, I would like to ask you about how did you have to change your own messaging? Specific to the customer experience cloud, in this much time, how much has it changed from say Jan 2020 to now, when you were talking to your customers?
It's a great question. I would say, honestly, not a lot, because I've been working at Oracle 4.5 years, and then my boss, Rob Tarkoff, he's the EVP and general manager of our CX business. He runs development and the overall business globally. Rob, myself, and our colleagues, we have always had a view that sales, marketing, service, advertising, commerce, we're all undergoing this transformation that required a deeper understanding of the customer. So we've certainly been, I say the main innovations we've been focused on is in bringing all of those applications together in one platform, and then bringing the AI and ML and the Unity piece in to analyze data. I would say that we've got a lot of really industry-leading applications at Oracle already. We've got 29 industry analyst leader awards across all of CX. That's more than any other vendor by far. You think about products like Eloqua and Responsys and BlueKai, just industry-leading products, Oracle Data Cloud, industry-leading businesses. So that's great, but what we've really been focused on for the 4.5, 5 years that I've been at Oracle is putting these products on a common Oracle cloud platform and integrating them together so that you can really snap together subscriptions with commerce, with CPQ. Like one trend we've seen, for instance, is that, I would say we've been talking about this stuff for a while and building up this strategy for a while. The pandemic is obviously tragic, but we haven't had to change our talk track too much because we've already believed in this need to switch to digital and personalized. And I'll give you an example. So about 1.5 years ago, we launched something called subscription management. And we launched that and we invested in building that because we believe that more and more goods are going to be sold by subscription. So obviously there's things like Netflix or Amazon Prime or these digital things, or Apple services. We all subscribe to, or Google services. We all subscribe to those things. But we're talking about like the sale of jet engines and tractors and manufacturing equipment being sold in subscription. So we not only built a subscription solution, but we built it so that it integrates with our sales solution and integrates with our finance solution, so that we're solving a bigger problem for companies than anyone else can. We're allowing salespeople to quote a subscription order. We're allowing them to generate a proposal. We're allowing them to generate the contract. We're allowing them to pass that contract through, close the deal, bill it on ERP, and recognize the revenue. And it all stays in one system. So we've got lots of technology, but I think the power comes when we can bring these things together. And that's relevant to, what's the difference between January 2020 and September 2020. We're just seeing all these trends accelerate, like the move to subscription billing and subscription services, the move to the digital channels. So I think it's the same talk track, but it's absolutely accelerated. Another great example would be Service Center from home. Like we have always had the capability for our customers to allow agents to work from home, but many customers chose to have all of their service agents come into a service center. Now they don't have that choice. So we've really accelerated the deployment of innovations like our browser user interface so that service agents can literally work from anywhere on any device and any machine. And we're accelerating bringing CX Unity into service so that we can guide our customer service agents to make the right next best decision for the customer.
All right, perfect. Soumya, you are up.
Yes, hi Des.
Hi, Soumya.
Hi, I'd like to know your thoughts on the current trends in the digital marketing space, both in India and worldwide.
Well, I think the number one trend, if I extend digital marketing to also include advertising, right? The number one trend is probably privacy and the rights of consumers to privacy, whether that was GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California, and all the legislation that is going on around the world. And I'm sure there's equivalent legislation in India that's been proposed as well, or even enacted. So what we're seeing is we're seeing, and then Google, of course, and others have announced, and Apple, the deprecation of the cookie. So we're seeing a decrease in third-party anonymized engagement with customers. And what that means is that there's a shift for marketers and organizations to recognize that the most important asset that they have is their first-party customer data, the data that you have permission to around your customers. And this kind of goes back to what I started talking about in the beginning. I think the most important thing in marketing and advertising is the same most important thing in CX, and this is this enterprise customer data platform, or move to customer intelligence and understanding the customer. So, I'll give you an example of what this means within ad tech, martech. Essentially, ad tech and martech are coming together. Right. So, one of the things that we're announcing on September 29th for our Unity product is that we've had a separate DMP product for advertisers, and then separate products for marketers. Well, Unity helps bridge that gap because we're building the ability to activate ads against your first-party customers through Unity. So, for example, I know that Noor is a valuable customer, and I'm sending Noor emails, but Noor doesn't like to open emails, and I don't have permission to text Noor. But I could match Noor's email address to Facebook, and I could find out that Noor is spending a lot of time on Facebook, and Noor is a really valuable customer to me, and I know she's using these 5 products, and I want to tell her about another product. I could run a single targeted ad on Facebook to tell Noor about that because I know she spends a lot of time there. So we can certainly advertise on the open web, we can advertise on Facebook, but the point is that we're seeing this merger between ad tech and martech, and more broadly, I would say, my advice to marketing organizations would be, you can't run your ad tech and your martech separately. If you're not using, what we say is that your customers give you signals every time they interact with your organization, and they interact on your website, on the mobile app, in the kiosk, in the store, et cetera, on the commerce site. If you're not taking the advertising signals or the signals from your website, and I'm not understanding that Noor seems to be exhibiting a lot of interest in this particular product, if I'm not bringing that into my marketing information, well, then how can I really treat Noor contextually and personalize an experience for her? So the leading marketing organizations are bringing together their advertising and marketing data and their activation systems. And this is one of the things we're helping our customers do.
Right. So Des, consumers are today in charge of their own data. Do you think this is putting an added pressure on the brands to serve them with relevant experiences?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't serve them relevant experiences, consumers have the right to say, I'm pulling back my permission. And I think, we all appreciate that. We are all consumers as well. We are all customers as well, and we all get many emails, many messages every day. So I think that control is welcome. One of the things that we're announcing on September 29th is that we are partnering with two companies in the consent management space,
Right.
SourcePoint and OneTrust. And consent management these two companies are essentially providing software that enables our customers to collect permission from customers both on the advertising side and on the marketing side, and to treat that consent data holistically. Like a customer may say, I don't want to hear anything from you, or they may say, I don't give you permission in these channels, or I don't give you permission for ads. So again, these integrate with Unity and allow our customers to not only give their customers and treat them with the right respect in regard to their privacy, it allows them to be in compliance with law, which can be a serious liability as well.
Right. My last question to you would be what role does Oracle don to be able to come out as a trusted advisor for its consumers?
Well, I think that trust starts with how we use our own technology to provide customer experience. So we use our own marketing solutions to market our products, and we absolutely adhere to best standards in permissions. We're very, very restrictive and very certain to have permission before we market to customers. That's number one. Number two, we use all of our own technology from CX Sales, our Configure Price Quote solution, for all of our own internal selling, not only of our CX products, but all of Oracle's products.
Right.
And we just recently rolled out a new product called Oracle CX Sales Mobile, which is a mobile application that has built-in AI and ML, built-in chatbot. It's based on our new Redwood guided prescriptive UX. So it's a beautiful looking modern UX. And the philosophy behind it is that it guides salespeople to the next best outcomes. It's not just for collecting data and reporting that data in like competitors, older CRMs. It's about a guided experience that helps sellers be more productive. So we are trying to build, adhere to best practices, learn the best practices in our own applications, and then share that with our customers. And then we absolutely, as we go to market, we think about the specific needs of different industries. And because we have such a large customer base and such a large geographic presence, if a bank comes to us from Southeast Asia, chances are that we have 8 or 10 or 12 or 20 different banking customers in Southeast Asia that we can provide advice to based on the experience that we've had with our other customers.
Right. Very insightful. Noor,
because now we are now on our last couple of minutes with Des. Des, you have actually answered all of our questions and more. I did a quick scan of all the list. Customer zero, so you are happy with your own experience, or rather using the products that's happening with Oracle yourself. Was there anything that you wanted to add, Des? From our point, everything that we wanted, you've already answered really well. Thank you.
No, I guess I just add that we believe at Oracle that it is, the pandemic is certainly a challenging time. And we know that many of our customers and many of their customers have been adversely affected by the situation. We are happy to have been able to help many of our customers respond to this. I was talking today to one of the mayor of Los Angeles's assistant deputies, and what we did with the city of Los Angeles is that they wanted to help they call their citizens Angelinos. So they wanted to help any of the Angelinos that were below poverty level, or that had more than 50% reduction, in their income due to the pandemic. And the city dedicated $13 million to a fund to provide to these Angelenos. And the challenge was, how could they get that money out to people and track that? And originally they were going to do it with, online spreadsheets and manual calendars. And then they had 450,000 people apply. And they couldn't administer the program. So they came to Oracle, and literally within 4 days, we had formed a partnership with MasterCard, partner Apex IT, a company called Time Trade, a partner of ours. We signed a contract within 4 days, and within 1 month, we had built a digital process that allowed the city of Los Angeles to process 135,000 applications. And because they were moving so rapidly with this process now and giving out the money, and the mayor was talking about it every night. They were giving out Angelino cards, which were debit cards. They were talking about it every night on TV. So celebrities and wealthy people in LA started giving more money. And they eventually raised and gave away $37 million to citizens of Los Angeles through the Angelino card. And not only was this program incredibly successful, it was done really rapidly. It was done at a relatively low cost. It did good for the city, but it also inspired other projects in the city of Los Angeles that may not even involve Oracle. But this project happened so fast and did so much good that the city of Los Angeles is now tackling other things. And now they want to start an Angelino account that they're going to offer to all the city of Los Angeles citizens so that they can all do all of their services digitally and online. So it's stories like that and us helping the city of New York that make me feel good that we all, and many other companies are doing good. It's not just Oracle, but we all are going to get through this and come out on the other side of this. It'll be a different world, the next normal, but we're all going to make it through this, I think. Okay.
Technology for good. We are finally seeing a lot of good examples of technology for good.
Exactly. Technology for good.
Thank you so much, Des, for your time.
Thank you. It's been a great conversation. Appreciate it.
Likewise. Thank you.